Good morning, Judith.
Sonya.
Welcome to the Coach's Cup. I meant to get a drink before I got started, but I didn't. So this morning we have the best topic for me right now.
Why is that, Sonya? What's going on?
When I looked at the schedule and saw we were talking about organize your mind this week, I thought Judith could see the future because my mind, we are starting school. We are starting all kinds of things. Kids are starting school. And if there's ever been a time for me to talk about organizing your mind, it's now.
So good. And well, all of us, like organizing your mind is really such an important part of leading a just a better quality of life for yourself when it's so manageable to go in and handle your thoughts.
Yeah, exactly. And thank goodness we have that tool. Because, I can think about all of the times when I didn't know that was available to me, when I didn't know that was a choice, and how crazy life gets.
Crazy.
So let's talk about it in terms of, Brooke talks about it in terms of a house.
Right.
Your mind is something like a house, and you get to go in and look at it room by room and make decisions about what you're going to keep and what you're going to get rid of room by room. And so the first room that we were talking about today is the room of memories. You want to talk about that?
Right. It's so the concept, is that what I want to say, that our memories are in fact the thoughts we have today in this moment. That I can't even, I'm like, that blows my mind still when I think about thought work and all the things that it does, that knowing that it's not from then that I'm remembering, it's from right now that I'm remembering, that I'm creating that memory right now.
Yes. Yeah. And that's easy to prove because you look at people who tell stories of their childhood. My cousins and I get together and talk about things that we remember from our childhood, and we have competing stories. They're not exactly the same. Like there might be some points that overlap, but they're different. And that's because our memories are our current thoughts. They're not a snapshot of what happened back then. And that's what we tend to think they are.
And like over the years, that the memory gets changes just ever so slightly, depending on how we choose to think of that moment, especially like if it could be, not a great memory or a very favorable memory.
Yeah. But we can keep memories around that don't serve us. You just alluded to that.
Right.
And so our room of memories, if we think about it as a current thought, then I think somehow that makes it a little easier to say, this is one that just doesn't serve me. Why would I want to remember it this way? Maybe why would I want to remember it at all? When you get our age, you really have to start cutting those memories.
Why is that, Sonya? Now wait a minute. Do I need to coach you?
Yeah, I know. I am finding, because we do have limited space in our brains, right? We have limited space and limited energy. So why would you keep something that's just taking up space?
I agree.
Getting dusty, it's no fun to clean when it's old.
Where's my little dustpan?
Yeah, your little dustpan and feather duster. All right. So the next room is, we have a room for subconscious thoughts. Things like we have a room just for all those mechanical things like breathing, walking, picking up an object. But the next room, brushing your teeth, all of that. The next room that I wanted to talk about was the room of judgment.
Yeah, so this is super interesting. I've been working with a client who thinks of her life and her family in particular that it's chaos. that is her judgment on her life. And clearly, if we were to put that in the model and you think it's chaos, you're going to get exactly what you're looking for. And so we've been coaching around how else she can look at her family.
Yeah.
And it was just super eye-opening to, one, see her face brighten up and lighten up and question, like, what? And to hear from week to week how she's evolving her thought from chaos to seeing it that this is her life, and accepting without judgment and loving her family. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it would be so easy for each of us to go in and create that narrative that our life is chaos, right? I mean, we're a society that's in constant motion.
Right. And I think it's a habit of saying it.
Yes.
It's not even one that I don't even think, if I had to guess, most of us we accept it as a truth. Mm-hmm. And this is just chaos. Well, my life is just chaos.
Yeah. Or I'm so busy.
Oh gosh.
I'm so busy right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And yes, it's all optional. And
mm-hmm.
that I think that's one of the most mind-blowing things, that you're not busy. We can take this down. You get to choose what you do, what you have to do. That's a topic for another podcast, but you get to choose how you think about it. And yeah, chaos, busy, that doesn't serve us very well.
No.
Another, there's another judgment. I don't know. Judgments seem to be one that really spoke to me for some reason. But my boss is so unfair, or my coworker hates me, or one that weight loss is hard.
Yeah, that'll get you good results.
They're all optional. Those are just judgments that we've made, and we accept them as truth. We don't even question them.
Right.
I wonder how many judgments we make a day. There's probably been some kind of research on
here's
that.
The thing too. Judgment served us. Like judgments got us as a human race to where we are today. Like our brain needs to make judgments. Judgments can keep us safe. Sure. Judgments keep us from getting hit by a car. Yeah. Making good decisions for ourselves. So the brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And we are so fortunate that we do have these brains, but we also are so fortunate to have the ability to discern now with thought work that we can choose better thoughts for a better life.
Yeah.
Better feeling life.
Yeah. So the next one that leads right into that, I think, is negative. We have a room of negative self-talk.
Yeah. That's really, I think, where the work is.
Yeah.
For many, many, many people, it's the negative self-talk and the beliefs that people have around who they are and who they are in the world and how other people perceive them, when in fact, really, it's their self-judgment, their negative self-talk that's perpetuating the cycle.
I like to think of the negative self-talk and judgment of being kind of a Jack and Jill situation where you can just open the door and go back and forth.
Share the same bathroom.
That's right. Exactly. It's exactly what it is. It's a whole suite where they share that.
That's so good, Sonya.
But
we'll steal that one.
Yeah. Feel free. But negative self-talk, that's one that I really had to work on. I didn't even realize that those thoughts were just running under the surface all the time.
So need to be cleaned up. Like, that is such a good point. Like well, here we go. They're sneaky.
Yeah, they are
running in the background, and you just don't even question them anymore because you've accepted them as truth for so long.
Yes.
And when you slow down and you're like, what?
Yeah.
What? It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. And we talked a couple of weeks ago about becoming the watcher. of your
Mhm,
brain
mhm,
and
mhm,
really slowing things down. And that's what it took. And I think
mhm.
that's what it takes for a lot of people, because like you said, after you have been, it's got that rut in your brain and it's just continuing to do that. You don't even question it.
Yeah. I just have to laugh here for a minute. That little gnat.
He just flew by.
Like,
So for all of you listening, I have been chasing a gnat this morning, a tiny little gnat, and I can't get him. And he just flew right by the camera.
it was so funny because my brain was like, well, that
There you
wasn't a
go.
cat. That was that gnat.
Yeah, he's teeny tiny, but he made a big
Y'all be
blur.
sure and rewind and watch it. Oh,
All right. So the big room that we should have in our house, I'm afraid in some people it's more of a closet, and maybe not a walk-in closet even, is positive self-talk.
oh, oh, Sonya, yeah, and that's so important. Having
Mhm.
your positive self-talk in your back pocket when
Yeah.
you need it the most is so tough.
Yeah. It should be the master suite in our
Oh,
home,
you
right?
are so good with this stuff.
I have a thing for houses. I love house plans and all
Oh
that.
yeah,
But
I
it
don't.
should be. It should be positive self-talk should be our master suite. We should
Dang.
sleep there. We should spend a
Yeah,
lot of time there.
even it.
Yes. Yes. And that takes practice. That should be,
Yes.
it's a nice clean room, not a lot of clutter, just beautiful thoughts floating around.
Oh my word. I just had visions of like opening up the closet of beautiful self-talk and
Yeah.
having it on like the pretty hangers.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm picking it and it's like, I don't know, maybe even some fuzzy hangers and each
Mhm.
one I'm just like is just beautiful and
Looks
I don't want to use the
perfect
word.
on me.
Yes, and it feels good and I just want to go in and look at it and love on it.
And
Yes.
you should, right? You should
Yes.
spend a lot of time in positive self-talk. I mean, if you ask most people today, tell me 10 things you love about yourself, how many of them can just pop them off?
It would be the rare bird.
It would. And that's not the way it should be at all. We should be able to go into that room or closet, and we should have so many of those thoughts.
Mm,
It really is where we need to focus our time and energy.
yeah, I'm
So
going to
let's
make
make it a room we like and want to spend time in, right?
absolutely 100% with the pretty hangers and all.
Yeah. So another room in our mind that we can organize are our future plans.
Mm,
Now,
mm-hmm.
some people are great with the future plans room. It's got, all the stacks of plans, and it's neat and organized and they're ready to go. Some are empty, which I think
Mm.
is kind of sad.
Right, because here's the sad part of that because the brain needs direction. And if
Yeah.
you're not having plans for yourself and you don't have goals and dreams, then you're not giving your brain direction and you're not your odds of getting there in the time you want or what's the word or the path there
Yeah.
it's the brain's not going to find it. So having goals and dreams, the room there is so important.
Yeah, because our brain is going to go from room to room.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And if future plans is empty, if there's nothing there, you're just gonna slam the door and just go sit in judgment or negative self-talk or one of those other rooms.
Yeah. It's so
So,
funny when you said that. I got this vision of something like the original what's the Christmas story, like
uh-huh.
the black and white version, and like I don't know. I had like Ichabod. It's not Ichabod Crane. What's his name?
I haven't seen that. I don't know.
With the three ghosts that go
Yeah.
out.
Oh, yes. Okay,
Christmas
Dickens.
past,
Yeah,
present, and
Christmas. Yeah.
future.
Yeah.
I had visions of that for some reason. Oh,
Huh.
that's a bunny trail. Slamming the door on your
Yeah, yeah.
future. It's like no.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what it is. So at least have a chair in your room at least. See, for future plans room, my idea of that room, that's kind of the office.
Mm.
That's where
Mm.
you do your work on on what's coming up.
So good.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. So there are lots of other rooms that we could talk about. I guess we could go on and on in our house, in our brains,
what's in your maintenance, Sonya?
in my maintenance room. Sheesh, we could go on there for a while. But positive self-talk better be there too, right?
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Like that should really be in every room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should have at least a nice little neat box of it in each room, right?
Right. Yeah.
Because, like I said, we only have so much space in our brain. We only have so much energy to think. So the question to ask yourself, what do you want to keep?
Mm-hmm.
Are you a hoarder?
Mm.
There are people who hoard memories. They live in the past. I've coached them. You've probably coached
Oh
them.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And it many times it doesn't serve them.
No, and that's really the unfortunate thing. The people who tend to hoard memories of the past are trying to change it.
Yes.
And, you and I both know you can't go back. You can go back and rewrite your story and change it for
Mm-hmm.
yourself in a way that serves you.
Right.
But that is also another skill that comes through coaching.
Yeah.
Is having someone help you rewrite your past.
Yeah. Yeah. And some people want to go back because they have this concept, that good old days concept.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, I guess I should have thought of this earlier, but it occurs to me that this is also one of those proofs that it's our current thought, because the good old days were never quite as good as we remember them to be.
Right.
But I know people who live in their past because they think it was so much better than what they have now. And
Mm-hmm.
I see that as so sad that
Mm-hmm.
they're choosing to spend their time back there and their future room's empty, or there are so many things that they left undone because they're living with the way it should be if it was the good old days.
Yeah.
So
I'm thinking of, I know it's someone in particular. It's not someone I coach, but someone who I know that lives in the past
mm-hmm,
and who had many circumstances in her life that were extraordinary, like not typical,
mm-hmm,
and really found herself in over years and years of just getting stuck in the groove of telling this one bad
yeah,
story, bad story, defining her life. And then it just created the story throughout her life as other
mm-hmm,
things happened, and just so stuck in the groove of and creating her own depression
yeah,
around the
yeah.
story, the story, the
Well,
story.
and there was an article that came out yesterday, and I didn't get to read it all, but it was talking about how depression, anxiety, that those may not be the medical issues. Did you read that? Did you see it?
No. Mm-mm. Where was it?
I'm trying to think. My memory room is not on target most days. But many of these issues go back to the thoughts that we choose, to the way we are thinking and training our brain, the way we're organizing our mind. And so I guess I want to think about the fact that these things are optional, and they can keep us in a cycle of depression and exhaustion.
Yeah. I
Or go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I was just tapping into my own experience over the last 10 months or so of anxiety, depression,
Mhm.
not good enough, not worthy. Like I hit them all in
Yeah.
record speed.
Oh yeah.
And the, it's just still, I can't even quite tap the word that I want to say. The surprise in me at being 52 years old, going through this and getting coached and being able to thought work my way through each and every one of these things that I know in my past has been, a 5-year stumbling block of trying to get out of.
Absolutely.
And I did this like in just, it feels like record time. It was
Yeah.
just, it was perfect timing to be going through life coach school and having my moment.
Yeah.
There was air quotes there for
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly true how things come together at the right time when they need to. Um, and you were choosing the right thoughts at the right time.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I sat through many coaching sessions with my jaw like wide open going, what?
Yeah.
What? And just disbelief of that I was creating this and this is optional because I had believed it true for so, so long. And it felt so true
Yeah.
in my body, the feeling of shame. That's the big one I remember.
Oh yeah.
Like they're all memorable.
Yeah. 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 Shame can take up a lot of room in your brain. It can go into a lot of those rooms and just wreak havoc. What's the insurance commercial with
Oh yeah.
it's not chaos, but
What is it?
whoever.
Oh my gosh, I love those too.
Anyway, that's shame, I think, for, I
Mm.
don't know if it's true for men. I can't speak for men, but I know with women, shame is a big one that kind of moves into our house if we let it and
Right.
takes over.
And we get so many cues from, from our mothers and from society and media and culture, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfection.
That's right. All right. Well, if I can leave our audience with anything, I want to encourage you. I want to challenge you to think about those rooms in your mind and come up with a couple of thoughts this week that you are tired of spending time with. You just want to kick them out of the house, give them an eviction notice, and send them packing because, like Judith was saying, we can change our lives just in changing our thoughts.
Yeah. And I think if I could leave our listeners with something, because I'm feeling particularly happy at the thought of my positive self-talk hanging on pretty hangers. It's
I love that.
to find your to find 10 positive thoughts that you want to focus on a change them out daily or use a couple of different thoughts daily and create your own visual on what your positive thought closet or room or rooms look like.
Yeah. Yeah,
Can you
I love
borrow
it.
my fuzzy hanger?
That's right. I love that. I mean, I can see it.
I can too. I see this like beautiful closet just with like the
Yeah.
most beautiful thoughts on beautiful hangers.
Yeah. So let's find a few this week. Get rid of the old stuff. Bring in those fuzzy hangers.
Okay. All right.
Come back next week when we are at episode 10 already.
Wow.
All right. I'm Sonya Green from SonyaGreenCoaching.com.
I'm Judith Fender Coaching.
All right. We'll see you next week.